Oh, what a fantastic interview. And Sam, definitely a little bit of a cringy ending there, but we'll talk about that later. Welcome back to EWC Central. My name is Quickshot, and as we always do here throughout the course of our 4 days of coverage, we stop talking about the games to interview representatives from behind the scenes. We talk to influencers, we talk to very important people, and in this case, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce the VP of Team Operations for Toronto Ultra. This is a man named Werdermann, who I have had the pleasure of being at least side by side, parallel, for many, many years. We used to roll in the same circles back in League of Legends days. First of all, welcome to the show. Please, if you could take a second, talk to our camera, introduce yourself, and tell us exactly what is a VP of Team Operations?
Sure. Well, thank you very much for having me. So in my role for Overactive Media, I generally run all of our teams, meaning I hire our coaches, our managers, our performance staff, and generally make sure that our players have what they need to perform. This could be kind of our office environment, this could be kind of any logistical support that we offer, travel, kind of coming to events like this. And that's kind of generally my role at Overactive, where we currently represent Toronto Ultra here, but we have multiple brands, some Mad Lions Koi in the LEC, or Movistar Koi in Valorant, and then Toronto Defiant as well in Overwatch.
Do you know what's, it's really exciting for me because I think a lot of fans, and especially younger fans depending on the game and the community, don't quite realize that Toronto Ultra is connected to these other franchises. What is it like from your side? Because I imagine there's a lot of adaptation, transition from like a single team to then a holding group and all these different squads. And I know your personal scope has grown over the many years. So what's that journey been like?
It's been quite fun. I mean, we have 13 teams now, so that's been quite the journey from, initially I was a League of Legends team manager and kind of moved through that. And EWC has actually been an interesting opportunity there because, for example, we have Sergio Ferro normally co-streams our Valorant matches, co-stream our Overwatch matches, and kind of bring the Koi fan base into our Overwatch team. And the great viewership was really kind of supportive there. He's going to also co-stream our Call of Duty matches. So it's really interesting for us to kind of bring all of these people together that normally, like maybe some of our Spanish fans don't know about Toronto Ultra. So that's been interesting. Kind of my journey into it, I actually started on the content side. So I was doing kind of videography work. I joined Splice back in 2016.
Wow, that's a blast from the past.
Yeah, early 2016, it was basically a Skype group with Marty and a few other people, and it was very small at the time. And I joined the content team, worked a bit in branding, and eventually moved to Berlin to help the content team there. And kind of found myself in the team manager role, I think partly because I spoke German, and that was very useful in Berlin. And then was never quite removed of the team manager role, so kind of
that means you were doing well. You were doing well.
I hope so.
Out of interest, let's talk then a little bit about the multi-games, because I'm somebody that has been passionate and borderline insane at watching every esports under the sun. I have the pleasure of being here for 8 weeks. I've covered every single title. What's the journey been like for Overactive Media and thinking about which titles to pick up? Because something that I love to ask clubs that are here, with all the titles, with the incentive of the club championship, how do you decide and prioritize what direction you go, especially with such a varied multinational set of teams?
It's a very interesting challenge. I mean, when you look at the club championship points, obviously top results are very favored. So it's interesting now looking at a lot of teams just picked up a lot of kind of teams, but if they're just kind of performing average, you're not really getting much in the club championship. And we're seeing our second place finish in Overwatch instantly put us kind of in interesting rankings. So clearly looking at it for next year as well, the priority is going to be, where can I have top teams? Where can I have guys that consistently kind of get us to the top scorers instead of just being kind of in every game?
Yes.
And otherwise for us, it's always important, how do we pick up a team that also kind of does something else for us? So for example, TFT, we're playing later today. Part of our players are from Latin America, which kind of in the Koi brand, there's kind of a lot of reach there. So there was an interest to kind of venture into that market, and why not do it through TFT? It's a game we know well through our League of Legends career as well. So that's been a really interesting to pick up, and the guys have been lovely to work with.
I love that so much. I will say this as well, as somebody who's been an avid viewer and just a fan of competition in general, I love the different approach to tournament formats here. The fact that TFT is team-based, 4v4. It also makes it a lot more appealing to me as a viewer, I would imagine, to Overactive Media and looking at teams.
Definitely does.
I am going to make you a little uncomfortable, and I will apologize in advance, because I do have the club championship standings, which I want to bring up. Now, you do have 600 points. The Toronto Ultra run in Overwatch 2 was phenomenal. First ever best of series, making it to the finals. It was phenomenal. I will say, unfortunately, because because it's 1,000 points for a trophy win. You're not on my top 10 list.
That's
okay.
fair.
So I'm going to ask you, how do you make it onto my top 10 list and actually make it to the standings here? Which game is going to be more likely to do it? Come on, Till, give me a spicy take.
I think Call of Duty is a good one for us this year. And we were quite kind of disappointed finishing where we did in the Call of Duty Championship this year. But we won the first event. I think we have world champions on our team. So I think this is kind of the time for them to clutch up and kind of almost make up for kind of less good chance finish. Top 3 is, high kind of regards there, and I think that's their standard as well. But if we can finish off the season with a win here, then that's a good Call of Duty season. That will get us the points.
I'm very appreciative because that was a very earnest and very fair statement, and also shows you the expectations that Overactive Media has for the organizations, for the teams, for Toronto Ultra and its individuals. Look, I've only just got a few more questions before I let you get on with your day and get back to the TFT tournament. What has EWC been like? I know for a fact you've been fortunate enough to travel around, you've seen different events. So what is the entire organization, and what does it mean for Toronto Ultra and OEM?
It's been a very premium experience. I mean, I've been to a lot of eSport events, but truly what kind of the players get here and servers, even the practice rooms, the player lounges that we have access to here, all of that's been very good. And it's been really fun to be here for TFT, where I think a lot of them haven't been to that many LAN events together. So it's almost like in kindergarten when people see each other for the first time and make friends and they all just know each other online. And scrim organization is just in person. So our players just walk up to people, like want to scrim. We kind of just ambush people into scrimming.
Yeah.
So seeing all of that for a game that, like in Counter-Strike or League, the top players see each other quite a lot.
Yeah.
Like doing it for a game like TFT has been really interesting for us to see. And obviously competing with other organizations for the club championship across multiple games. A lot of people that do my roles, I kind of speak to about these things. And normally we compete in just one game. Now we all of a sudden compete in multiple games. So it's kind of quite interesting to the rivalries there.
I will tell you this as well. This is a little unfair, but I'm sure Till will agree with me on this. Having been around the same game or the same community for prolonged periods of time, there becomes a comfort and a familiarity that you lose some of the excitedness. It's phenomenal seeing like mobile gaming esports next to giant battle royales, next to TFT and the team fights for the first time. That kindergarten analogy of having excited kids to run around and be hyped, it's really rejuvenating. It's really uplifting. Okay, well then look, I've just got 2 more things. What sort of message would you like to send to your fans, to the audience, to members of Toronto Ultra competing in TFT and Call of Duty? You can go direct to the camera, give them a shout out, and then we'll let you get on with your day.
It's mostly a thank you to all fans, especially the fans from our different brands. Especially the Koi fans have been super active in supporting Ultra during their Overwatch run. I'm sure they will do so in TFT and Call of Duty through our co-streamers. And it's been just very excited to see seeing a lot of kind of fan groups that are previously disconnected come together through EWC. And yeah, excited to see what we can do today in our match in TFT.
Till, it has been an absolute pleasure to interview you. For people at home, for people to know that we're both fans of Timo, have been around together for a very long time. I'm going to let you get on your day. Before you go, though, we're going to transition to Street Fighter 6. Tasty Steve himself went out yesterday to catch up with Dual Kevin from Furia in the ALJ interview.